Okay, so I started out in the big creek and I ended up, my shoe, one of my boots has a hole in it, so it got pretty wet, and it's not much over 30 degrees out here right now. So I decided to walk on down into the smaller creek that I crossed on the way in and start working it. And I did a couple pans, and then I found what I thought was a big piece of bedrock, and I started working that hole out. And you can see it right there. I've gone all the way back up under it, and my very last pan I pulled one decent flake out of it. I wouldn't even call it a decent flake, but that's the first time I've pulled my snuffer bottle out after being out here a couple hours. So there is a possibility to spend too much time in one location, but I want to move on down the creek and see what I can find now. Last trip, met a couple guys out at I think it's part of Coker Creek and McAllister Branch, and I was going to show you my miller table again and some of the cleanup. I did some fine tuning on it, and this is what I've come up with. I've got the bar that's dripping the water. I've got the underflow dam there. These clamps are holding it in place. It provides some adjustability, letting it up or down. And then also I've got some, I think it's some like a wire type scrubbing pad. I'm not really sure what to call it, but anyway, I cut it in half and put it on there to help control the water that's coming out, and that's helped a tremendous amount. So it's set up as a recirculator right now, and all I do to it, I've already run some material on it, but I just hit it with a little jet dry. That helps break the surface tension up, and then you're going to scrub the whole mat down. So scrub the whole mat down. That helps to, like I said, break up any surface tension, gets any oil off of it from your hands that you might have touched. It'll cause your fine gold to float. So got that, a little jet dry in the water, and then I'm going to get it started up. Make sure it's level. That's the main thing. Water's coming through. Let it run a minute. Now these are screened down to about 30 mesh, I think is what I have. And there's not much gold. It was a good trip, but my boots ended up leaking water. Both pairs of boots I had. So I also worked what I thought was a bedrock, and just a piece of little rock slipped through the cracks there. You can see the material just kind of walking away. It's going to save a tremendous amount of time. Put everything down now, and for cleanup, what I like to do is sweep all the gold up into a little pile with the water still running, and then just take my snuffer bottle and just snuffer it right up into it. There wasn't much to show you, so I wasn't really able to show you anything with the gold that I recovered. A few little bitty specks and one small little piece. So just not a whole lot to show you from that trip. Still fun. Had a lot of fun out there meeting Keith and Ark. This was good to meet you guys. Ark, thanks. He sent me home a bucket of material that I go through. I started screening it out a little bit just to mess around panning. But that'll give me something to do this winter. I'm definitely going to have to get some more boots before I go out next time. But I guess my final reflections on the miller table build for anyone that's interested. It was a fun project. It took a little while getting the tweaking down, getting it to, you know, function right, how I want it to. If I had to do it over again and I had the money to spend, I would probably just buy a cleanup sluice. And by a cleanup sluice, I mean something like the aluminum type that have the rib matting and that have the matting that you can take out of it. And then on the bottom of the rib matting, I would take some chalkboard paint and put down on it, and then you could use a sponge or something the same as I have there to help control your water flow. Also, as far as the plumbing of the pipe and stuff, I would not use 1-inch fittings. I would go on and use 3/4 inch, and I would use, instead of a ball valve, because this really, as much as it looks like you can adjust it, you just can't adjust it. You can't fine tune that. No matter how much I've tried, I'm just not able to. Luckily, with the dam that I have on there and the scouring pad that I have under there, I'm able to adjust it to where I can get some pretty fine gold. I'll have to show you a picture of some of the gold that I got from the Wildcat Creek and some of the pay dirt that I bought. I'll show you some of the fine gold that I recovered from there. I'm not sure what the mesh size on it is, but I do have it's not a needle but a pin, and the tip of the pin, this is like sewing pin, that's what I'm talking about. There's pieces of gold, I have it zoomed in on one of the pictures I'll put up there, but the pieces of gold are smaller than the tip of that pin. So I'm not sure what mesh size that is, but that's some really fine gold. But anyway, yeah, back to the cleanup sluice. I would probably just buy one. There's a couple that I've had my eye on that I really like. The Boiler Box Mining. He's got some 2-foot and 3-foot sluices. I would really like to get one of those and probably do that chalkboard paint on the bottom of it. So you can check those out. There's other options as well that are a little bit cheaper, but that seems like a pretty good product to me. So that's something I'll be looking at in the future. I'll keep messing around with this that I have until I can afford something like that. But yeah, so finished out the season. Not a whole lot of gold in my last trip, but a lot of fun. And thanks everyone for watching. And I hope that clears up any questions that you might have had about the Miller table and just some of my thoughts with the whole build. So thanks again everyone, and have a happy new year.